Martin Snow, the great and powerful. What's happening?
Matt, how are you doing?
I
I'm
am
up
uh
here.
I am living the dream, I guess you could say. I'm 43 and still alive, so that's pretty good.
I'm 66. I got two shiners,
Yeah.
but it's weird how they got like this. I don't know how it was like a perfectly timed shot.
I feel like your face is healing up quick. It's kind of impressive how
It's
fast it looks
healing.
better.
It's healing quickly. I haven't got a broken nose in quite a while. When I look at some of the place some of the people I've who have broken my nose, I really feel like I'm really slipping. I've been um I've fought in some very rough places among some very rough people, outlaws, professional fighters, world contenders, and I got the other day an influencer broke my nose. And he was like a tiny guy. He dresses like Spider-Man and goes out just like Spider-Man. And this is the fella who broke my nose.
Now, that's like
Influencer broke my nose.
hold on now. It kind of a little bit sounds like we're writing a script to a movie nobody's ever going to believe right now.
I think I'm gonna write a. It sounds like. You ever see that story by Gay Talese? Frank Sinatra has a cold. It's much like that, but I'm no Gay Talese, and this guy was no Frank Sinatra.
Oh my
It
God.
could be. It could be a movie though. An
Now,
influencer broke my nose,
an influencer broke my nose and he
and
thinks
you
he's
know what?
Spider-Man.
Yeah, but you know what's worse than an influencer breaking your nose? It
What's that?
wasn't even an influencer. It was this photographer. That's even worse.
I mean, maybe the photographer has got a background in kicking ass, no?
I doubt that. He dressed like Spider-Man and goes on the subway.
Oh my goodness
Yeah,
gracious.
just like New York, this is typical of New York where, you know, I was, I fought legitimate people in legitimate places. Everywhere from Madison Square Garden and a main garden. I fought at Sing Sing prison. I've been in some really rough places against some very rough people. Hell's Angels, world class fighters, all this stuff. But man, this fucking guy, I'm slipping. I was in a state of shock. Like I never thought A, anybody would ever try that, and B, anybody could pull it off. But man, that was a real wake up call to me.
Yeah, and I mean, me seeing your face on social media and reading the article on page 6 right away, it should be a real wake-up call for more than just you, I feel like. I feel like that's what
It's
why we
not
wanted to
about me.
talk, you
Yeah,
know?
it's not about me at all. And I'm telling you, people need to realize like the threat that New York is experiencing right now because the enemy is not at the gate, the enemy is inside the gate. And I think we're coming down to a point. I've lived in New York my whole life. I think we're coming, to a point where that can slip away very quickly. And the problem is, if New York goes, so goes the country. So, like people say, well, screw New York or screw LA. No, but it's just that's a little foothold, and then the next thing you know, everything little by little, it's like cancer. And this is a cancer. It's a bunch of you get lectured by you know rich people about the evils of capitalism. Well, how'd you make your money? Nobody in New York has these problems. New York's been around, has survived some pretty tough times. No thanks to these people who just kind of moved in and decided to take over. And they're so hypocritical also that, you know, shut up. Just, if you're going to be a New Yorker, be a New Yorker, but don't decide that you're not going to remake New York in your own image because, but the problem is we lost a lot of the old timers. It's been steadily, this has been going on steadily, so when you start losing the old timers and then, these new kids come in, like you said the other day, they're arrogant. they're just arrogant. They just walk in and start filming, never asked to, just decided they're going to do that with really expensive equipment. So, you listen to their, you know, whatever their political agenda is, but it's really creepy. But I don't like getting lectured to people about what it means to be a New Yorker or what it means to be, American, what it means to be Christian. Why? Shut up. Just let me be what I want to be. And, you should have no say in it.
So now tell me something before we get too involved in how this country is slipping into some strange scenario. These guys walked in off the street. They wanted to use your gym. You
Yes.
asked them to leave because you're a gym that is a private gym for the clients, and you have, film crews that do come in on a professional level,
Uh,
like Ray Donovan, with the proper contracts and the proper permits
yeah.
to shoot there.
Yeah.
And now these guys just charge in and they're kind of shooting as if the gym is their own.
Yeah.
How in their right mind do you think these young folks are walking around the streets trying to kind of ensue a riot on a minimal level with people so they could get some social media content out of it? Like, where are these guys heads at? What makes them think they can get away with that? What is the message that they're digesting, whether it be from social media, your politician, your church, your pastor, whoever? What message, why you're the nicest guy I know? You and I been friends for 20 years. We've never been
Yeah.
in a disagreement. We've punched each other in the face a couple times, but out of
Yeah.
good nature, teaching people how to box. Now you got these kids coming in, you tell them no, and then they get aggressive and try to assault you. This is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, like, and you know what it is? It's people now, and this is the 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 war we have now, is that it's fought by fake soldiers with iPhones. And as long as you got a camera on somebody, this one dude has a camera, it's like a $3,000 camera, right? And then there's his iPhone, he starts filming. I'm like, yo, I told you the first time, turn that off, you're not filming here. And he insisted on, but now he's doing it like he turned the table, he make it look bad. So, this could help your business a lot. I said, no, thanks. I'm good in that department. But then he turns it around, he starts like unhinged and start filming it. And like, who the fuck are you? I was down there right across the street over here. I was standing right across the street on 9/11, the morning of 9/11, on the second point. I'm standing there. So all these kids that come along and they think like, these Wall Streets and I street. Shut the fuck up. These guys are all, young kids who haven't done shit in their life. This idiot's telling me how to run a business. And this other guy comes in and he's like a influencer. I hate that job. And he's gonna be a fake fighter. Everything is fake. Every fucking thing is fake. That's the problem. When you lose your roots, you lose your soul. And these guys are all fakes. The guy comes in and um, he's telling us, he walks in, he's getting filmed like he's actually knows what the fuck he's doing. This guy couldn't fucking throw a punch to save his life. But and then you know what else gets me? It turns out he's an Italian kid who converted, and now he's going to tell everybody else the really disturbing part, which is really what got me, is that you watch this guy's videos on there, and holy fuck, it looks to me like he's saying we got to eliminate Jews. It's that fucking fighting. And look, I'm not getting out of nowhere. I look at the comments in the thing, and what are people saying? Get rid of Israel. Get rid of it's what country are we living in? This is like, people call everybody Nazis now and Hitler, but this is fucking crazy shit. And at some point, driven by a religion and fed by an ideology. I'm sorry. I'm good with what I got. I'm good. I like being a capitalist. I like being Christian. I'm good there. And I like being a New Yorker. But when you gotta come in and tell them to start, You go into town and start telling everybody who they're gonna be and what they're gonna be, and like, shut the fuck up. All these kids, go up. You can go and complain about Columbus, but you just did the same fucking thing in Bushwick. What do you think hey, you didn't kill anybody, but you drove everybody out of their homes, and you don't give a fuck what happened to them. So, everybody shut up and stop being hypocritical. Everybody has flaws. Everyone's flawed. Nobody's good. So do the best that you can. But, you're not a good guy by saying somebody else is a bad guy. And that's the problem. But the scary part is, and it's really frightening because I've never seen this in New York in my entire life. We're going down into this rabbit hole where it has no return from this, so it's going to be a long, long time. They're talking about, the Jews and now there's like some Nazi shit going. I don't know. I'm Catholic. I'm looking at it from the outside. It's not like I'm Jewish. I'm saying, oh shit. I'm Catholic. I'm looking at this stuff. I'm saying, holy fuck. We got to stand up for people here because it's not fair. And, as long as people start, you know, acting like they all of a sudden own shit and that they demonize people, really, shut up. Shut up. Be a New Yorker.
Like,
Please.
what do you think they're trying to achieve? Like, what are they trying to achieve?
Domination. Domination. Own the country. People in the Midwest are like, fuck New York. No, don't fuck New York because as New York goes, so goes the rest of the country. You want this country to be what it is. Well, you better everybody all hands on deck because we're in a fight right now. That's how it works. If New York falls, everything goes downhill. Everything will go downhill. That's the bottom line. They guilt people into thinking, oh, geez, I'm bad. I'm have some kind of privilege. No, you don't. We're all gonna die one day. So tell me what kind of privilege that is. We'll talk about privilege. How about these pricks that walk in and start telling we're gonna, like talk me into filming? I don't know. Fuck no. This would be good for your business. What the fuck do you know about business, man? You're like 20 some years old. I've had a business longer than these guys have been alive.
Now, what like moving forward past something like this, rather than us, sitting here and saying this kid deserves an ass beating for being an asshole.
Yeah,
Um, like what message do you want to get out? Like what do we tell people? Like, look, you and I have talked off camera about a lot of different things, a lot of different times. One of the biggest
yeah,
problems that I'm seeing right now is kind of the merge of politics and religion with people,
yeah,
and where their religion becomes their politics and vice versa, and they try to, get you into this club before you feel like an outcast, and then now next thing you know, you're doing things to people that they absolutely don't deserve, is uncalled
yeah,
for. You got shit like this going on. So what do we like what you have a beautiful knack for speaking some great wisdom. Talk a little bit about what the hell needs to happen here based on what just happened to you. You fell victim to this nonsense going on. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Well, I don't like to say victim because look, in all honesty, I got three professional fighters standing right behind me while these kids are doing it. Any one of us could have fucked these guys up, or at least that guy. I
yeah,
mean, they're nothing. They're twerps. Anybody, but to throw a punch in anger is so self-defeating. A, and B, everything is on film now. So people have these cameras, and that thinks it's false courage. A camera is false courage. Here's a guy that's fighting with one hand and filming with the other. He's willing to, like, all he wants to do is get him on film fighting. If he got his ass kicked, he would be okay with that because at least he's got it on film. People, they worship this god of of video. They worship that God. Whatever that fame is, whatever that, you know, get on social media, get a lot of likes. I know how this other guy's got 700,000 likes, but holy fuck, the shit that he's saying to me is absolutely fucking crazy. I'm looking at this one video, and the guy, he thinks he's JFK. He's talking about these American values and what happened to our values. Shut the fuck up. He's like in his 20s. What the fuck does he know? And he converted from Italian from well, he did convert from Italian. Yeah, he converted from Italian. So I don't know how that's working out with his family, but it's it's baffling.
You
But
know, I
it,
thought at some point, and this is like tinfoil hat Matt, but now it seems to be coming true that social media is becoming godlike to these young people, that their
yeah,
entire identity, everything they do, everything they say, if it's not recorded, it's a waste of time. If it's recorded and it's not, doesn't have this elevated sense of something that the viewers can latch on to, that they don't even want to do it anymore. So at what point do these kids, these young guys, stop living for a social media click and start living with humanity and picking each other up? You want to rebalance the country. It starts by
yeah.
being having less assholes. And so you got to stand in front of these assholes and say something to get them to click and understand something in another direction. It's just, it's really absurd that we're even having this conversation, but this is the time we're in.
And nothing happens till the lights go out. The only thing that's going to change is if there's a blackout. There's no electric, so nobody's on the phone because they're control. You know, it's very subtle how these things work. And when you realize somebody's programming shit in there to get you, so everyone is looking for God. Don't ever, if anybody says they don't believe in God, everybody has a God. It might not be the same one, but everybody has a God. Everybody will born with a need to worship something. So, and that's where, so when you get people that they look at a phone and whatever they're thinking is going to pop up on that phone. Like, oh my God, my phone understands me. That's God. That's how it works. It's just you stare at a phone and it figures out the patterns and it figures out your behavior. And then the next thing you know, some of you were just thinking about pops up on the screen. And people, look, everybody gets called to go on this journey. We're wired for adventure. We're wired for a journey. And you have to go out there and experience hardship to do it. But if your journey is going to be sitting on a couch and watching a thing, you don't have any freedom. It controls your mind. Because what does it do? It moves like you're watching the screen and your eyeballs are jumping around, and it's no accident how it moves your eyes around. That's all free. That's all programmed. The eyeballs move in a certain way, so you don't have control. Look at all these kids; they have ADHD, whatever the fuck. Why? Because the eyeballs are always jumping around all over the place. They can't even look you in the eye. And what is that? Well, they made you the prey. How do you differentiate the predator and the prey? The prey holds the breath and move and do this shit, always looking around like, what's the next? And I see people do this all the time. They go into the ring. That's why you go into the ring, you're retraining your nervous system. Eyeballs focus, always tight. Now you're the predator. But, do we need predators? Absolutely. Don't be a good guy, be a bad guy to the bad guys. There's bad people in the world. So if we're going to be sheep, we're fucked. No, be a bad guy to the bad guys, But all these kids, and they all get together and scream and, you know, pound their feet and shit, and they go up there and protest, cops. And as long as they got that phone on, they're brave because they know that it's like this magical force field that cops can't do anything. Everybody's gonna lose their job. I'm not for anything. I'm not punching a fucking guy. I know exactly what's gonna happen. I know exactly what's gonna happen. You know, I'm fucked. He doesn't have anything. What do you have? This camera? I got three gems. All I gotta do is put my hands on that guy and I'm the villain. I'm three times his size. I'm the villain. These other fighters, I'm like, don't hit the guy. Nobody punched him. Nobody punched him. He deserved it, but nobody punched him because the second you do that, you're fucked. You've just fucked if you do that. The guy is just a fucking twerp, but he's willing to get his ass kicked just just to be on TV. The people sell their soul. People will sell their soul, and they'll throw people under the bus. And God help us, though. New York, anti-Semitism is the barometer for this, what kind of society you live in. And if you see, we're this close to like, the demonization of Jews. Holy fuck! You know what? And it's very clever how they word things, because this guy is saying America's going downhill and there's a parasite and we have to get rid of the parasite, but we got to unite Democrats, Republicans, black and white, Muslims, and Christians. Who did he leave out of that group?
Yeah.
Obviously, he's talking about Jews because you look in the comments and well, the people start chiming in. You know, they've demonized Jews. Jews are now these, butchers of young people. That's just been going on since the 1970s. I remember as a kid, Yasser Arafat and all that shit. So I don't want to pretend I know anything about what's going on in Israel. But I tell you what, nobody can figure this out in all these years. What? It can't be that difficult. It really can't be that difficult. If you really wanted to fix something, you could fix it. That's the problem.
You know, it's I watched that video that that dude posted, and yeah, I agree with you. He's calling for the elimination of a parasite, right? But it's
Yeah,
obviously who he's not speaking about is included in his group, and it seems to be targeted towards Jewish people. I feel like the parasite, unfortunately, is social media at this point. It's getting into these people, it's getting into their
yeah,
heads, it's making them believe this, that, and the other thing. And then the loss of self, right? None of them know who they are because they're trying to be whatever they can be to get people to like them so they can get ad dollars or
yeah.
whatever it is. Unfortunately, there's no stopping social media, much like AI. But I mean, there's got to be better people out there trying to make a difference in the world other than these young people trying to get, and who knows if these young people even believe in what they're posting or fighting for, you know?
They have, it's not about who's good, it's about who's a good editor. And that's all it comes down to. It's not about being a good person, it's about being a good editor because that's a story that you tell. As long as you can tell. I mean, I'm just shocked at how people look at something and say, oh my God, this is such a amazing video. No, it's not. The guy's going for that. That's anything but. It's disgraceful. It's absolutely despicable. When the fuck do people wake up to the fact that somebody's saying you know who the enemy is? The enemy is always the person who's telling you there's the enemy. That's the enemy. That's the one who's making the money. That's it. Everybody fights, right? There's always going to be wars. There's always going to be. But you know what? If you get in your own way, kind of figure out how to do a punch without being angry, that's why I didn't want to hit the guy because I was angry. But why am I going to throw a punch at a guy if I'm angry? Then I'm no better. I'm no better. This guy was so fucking angry. I've never seen the rage in this guy's eyes. Even when the cops came, oh my God. So I said, no, you can't film. Does he give a fuck? That's crazy.
And when the
That's
cop
crazy. And I got,
when the cops came,
hold on a second. Hey, no speed bag. Thank you.
and when the cops came,
Yeah.
how did the thing unfold? Did the cops know right away what happened, or did they look at you and think, "Oh, look, this guy got his
Nah, they
ass"?
knew right.
Yeah.
Well, they knew right away. Usually I'm the first guy to lock up, but not this time. They, oh, sorry, Xavier. That was you. Yeah, I'm doing a thing. Uh, Usually if cops show up and no matter who is there, I'm usually the guy that ready to put the cuffs on. But this time, I think they told them, and the cops down there know me, and the cops are frustrated because they can't do shit anymore. I mean, you demonize when you demonize people. They demonize cops. They demonize Jews. They demonize people making money. You know, why'd you stand in front of a guy's house and say, "Oh, this guy's making so much money and he's not never even here"? Wouldn't you want a guy like that? He's paying a lot of money in taxes. He's not in New York. He's not using any of the resources. That's like the perfect person in the world you want. But it's always this finger pointing and you know, um, trying to demonize people and let's go get them. That's the kind of shit that's just fucking, it's absolutely insane. Why wouldn't you celebrate people that make money and say, I found a lot of rich people, they're not always willing to part with their resources, but the ones I know have been more than happy to share their resourcefulness. You want to, I had a guy that was, Forbes 400. He would tell people, show people how he made the money. He started from nothing. He was always generous with his time and, show people why don't you get big businesses like that and have them work with kids and teach kids how to be entrepreneurs and teach kids how to start businesses and kids how to, but nobody ever asked them. It's crazy. Nobody ever asked. They want to demonize business. Why? You can learn more money if you can learn more from these guys than people paying 100 grand that's going to school, $100,000 for elementary school to learn the craziest fucking shit in the world. But God forbid you say anything about genders or pronouns or anything and you redeem it. Come on, get off that shit. It's fucking crazy.
And these people on social media, specifically these type of guys, they have their message is so toxic. Like there's no like, oh, I'm gonna share what I'm doing and help the next generation, and like they say, plant seeds under trees you'll never sit under, right? Like these young guys aren't doing
I
any of
like
that.
that one. I don't even
That's
know what that means, but I like that.
you know what I'm
I'm gonna
saying?
use
Like,
that one.
yeah, look, you plant a seed and it takes 40 years or 50 years to grow shade under that tree. You're going to die before you
Yeah,
ever sit under it. But that's the thing we're here to do. We're here to make
yeah,
the world better, learn from the past mistakes, grow, open
yeah.
ourselves to new experiences, art and development and self and all these things. Like you said, be the hero on your own block, be the bad guy to the bad guys, all these positive messages. I don't hear any of them within the social media posts of, for example, these couple of guys that came in. I went
Yeah.
through, I did a deep dive on all of them, a photographer included. Like I looked up everybody. There's nothing coming out of there productive whatsoever. And it's sad for me at my middle-aged 43-year-old ass to go, man, I got an 11-year-old kid and I got to teach him how to deal with people like this and to understand that people like this are just out there doing a thing for no reason, with no moral, with no principle, with no hope to help anybody but themselves within this moment. And it's sickening, man.
It really is because people use they're opportunists and look at any of the people that we have a mayor in New York who I mean you can't come I, I, I don't understand that shit at all. Like what the fuck has he done? What the fuck he they can't I can't even get started on that shit. It's if people believe like a 34-year-old now has the experience to run a city. No, he doesn't. 34, nobody's ever done it before. He's not the brightest guy in the world. He's not some, you know, you can't. When you're 34 years old, Bloomberg did a great job, right? He had all this business experience. But all it is about, let's look like the moral ones. Let's look like they're not. They're fucking morons. They're just fucking idiots. You don't. This city is more divided than it's ever been with any mayor I've ever seen because all they specialize in making those guys look bad. Same with Ocasio Cortez. They're full of shit. What the fuck do they know? They're fucking morons. They're really absolutely, you know, going out there is about shooting your mouth off and how you sound when you listen to the shit they say, they're absolutely, absolutely out of touch with any reality. You can't. And I mean, at what age do you learn that stuff? All these people, you need experience in life to learn things, not just somebody feeds them a line and they go out and spit it out. It's all about sound bites. There's no substance to anything. It's all style. And it's like these fucking guys, the guy walking into the gym acting like he's a fighter. He's not. And the other fucking guy doing his camera acting like, dude, just get the fuck out. If I say get out, just walk out. I put my whole life into this. I've been doing it for a long time. Now all of a sudden, your right to film trumps mine to say you're not filming that. Thank God I didn't want to film. I don't want my gym on a channel where the guys, homophobic and anti-Semitic. And don't hide behind language like anti-Zionist. It's the same shit. You don't like Jews.
Right.
Come out and say you don't like Jews. That's it. I know some Jewish guys. Tell these guys you don't like Jews and see how they face to face. Talk to some Jewish guys I know. One of them's you, and just say, oh, "Yeah, I don't like Jewish people," and then go from there. Somebody might get a fat lip or a broken nose, but at least that'll start the discussion. Just like this started discussion. Look, I'm 66. I'm too old for this shit. Breaking a fucking nose by a guy, the last thing in the world I expected is in my own gym to get my fucking nose broken by a guy with a headbutt who had no right to be in the gym. Zero right to be in a gym. Had no right to be here. And he decided, though, his right was more important. No, get the fuck out of here. And of course you can't touch anybody because it's really disconcerting. At some point, I understand people who are leaving New York and more are leaving, but that's what they want. They want New York to tank. They want the country to tank. It's not like, they're going to try to build a better life for people. They have no interest in that. They want to tank the country. There are people behind this whole thing that you never see, you never hear about. The enemy is never eye level. They're always the person telling you they're the enemy. But step number one, above all else, we got to stand up for Jewish people in New York. That's the bottom line. That is the bottom line. If we abandon Jews, we're no better than these other fucking guys. That's my point. So let's all get together. You're going to fuck with the Jews? Okay, you're fucking with us now, too. They're New Yorkers. Muslim people, hey, I got Muslim people in the gym. My dentist is Muslim. I got trainers who are Muslim. I got friends. Yeah, but they never said any of this shit. I've never heard them say any of that shit that these guys are saying. Fuck off. Crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy.
it's like the vacancy in thought is crazy that
Yeah,
you're not doing any thinking other than for social media. And so social media is
yeah,
the god to these young folks. And honestly, I don't know where we go from here. I'm with you, right? Like I live in California. It's a lot of shit here too going on. You got
yeah,
Newsom shouting out, trying to pretend he's some kind of Trump like figure on social media and yelling this and that and saying crazy things. None of this existed pre social media when these guys had to get on, a debate and do their thing. But now the
yeah,
access and the availability for everybody to share their opinion about everything. And if their
yeah.
opinion in their heart and soul doesn't give them the likes and views, well, then they pander to the new audience and they go there. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
And so it's soulless. It is absolutely soulless. And it's troubling because, again, I don't know where we go from here other than the things that you and I have talked about and I've learned from you. And is that as being the hero of your own on your own block. That's very much what you're saying. The
Yeah,
Italians and the Catholics, they're going to show up for the Jews and vice versa, and our black friends and our Asian friends and all these different things. But for some 20-year-old guys to be spreading the message of, hey, we got to get rid of this we got to other these people. That's what Hitler did, right? He othered
it's
the
fucking
Jews.
crazy.
Yeah.
And I look at it, I don't see any doubt whatsoever who he's referring to. I really don't see, you know, and then throw in the gays as well, because there's some references to that. And anybody who's not, you know, um, it's like a religious right, but um, for Muslims now. Now you got, hey, but another pain in the ass when Christians start telling you you're going to hell. But now, man, now everybody's gonna start telling you the same shit if you don't believe this. I mean, it's really tiring. I'm Catholic. I'm set with it. I'm good. I'm not interested in converting or believing that somebody read a book on Jesus and he's right and I'm wrong. I'll take my chances. I'll take my chances. I don't care what religion you are. You shouldn't care what I am. As long as my religion doesn't interfere with yours, it's though when you start telling people they're going to hell because of this, that's where it's a problem.
Yeah.
That's where it becomes a problem.
I mean, let people believe and live how they want to live as long as they're not
Right.
causing harm to other people. Like, end of story. It's just not
Yeah.
that difficult of a concept, right? Like you said, everybody's got a God. None of them look the same, right? Everybody's praying to something different when they close their eyes and they drop to their knees. And it's our responsibility as human beings in the human experience of life. Where you got a question, what are you here for? Well, you're here to not harm other people and experience as many things as you can, and
Right.
provide service, right? Be in service somehow, some way. Like, what's the
Everyone.
I don't read the Bible or the Torah. I don't, I'm a spiritually religious guy. I pray. This isn't that hard of a concept.
Right.
I just can't really grasp the idea that social media has become so important to these young folks. And I think we need the social media influencer types that are not promoting this negative shit to step up
Yeah.
and go, listen, this is
It
what
doesn't
this is
sell
for.
though.
I know that's the thing.
Hate sells. Hate sells.
It does.
But what's the antidote to that? Go out there, be a hero. Go out there, talk to people. I stand outside, throw football around, I talk to everybody. Doesn't it? There's a the other night, guy walked by. It was six girls wearing hijabs, right? I went outside. I was talking to them. I had them talk like they were from Brooklyn. We hit it off great. They were worried because people looked at them funny and said, "Hey, why? Don't be yourself." One thing in life you can't fuck up. Just be yourself. So that's and Emmy. I love Emmy from Egypt, and she's in LA walking around with a hijab, and people, hey, fuck them. Somebody wants to give you a hard time, fuck them. Somebody, whatever your thing is, yeah. If you're trans, fine. If you're trans and you're surrounded by a bunch of people want to kick your ass, I'm trans too. Now it's 10 against 2, not 10 against 1. That's it. I am you. If we're outnumbered, you just got one more on your team. But I'm not gonna, this idea was getting up on people because we outnumbered them and they somehow threaten our existence. No, they don't. It's really fucking crazy. I don't understand this level of hatred, but someone's behind that. Somebody's making money off that. So let's find out who they are, you know. But it's really, I've never experienced anything like that. I mean, come on, getting my nose fucking busted by a guy. At least before, I had John the Baptist LaFranco broke my nose. He broke the orbital bone of my eye. He's in the Hells Angels. Other guys, Art Tucker was world class heavyweight. Teddy Atlas trained him. Art had like the hardest jab I ever felt. Art busted my nose. But man, an influencer? Not even the influencer. Because the influencer's photographer. And he dresses up like Spider-Man and goes on the subway. I'm slipping. I'm really slipping. I have to go for therapy because I'm like, fuck, shit.
Yeah.
I just have my nose broken by the influencer's photographer. How do you get over that?
I don't
I
know.
gotta, I gotta
Honestly,
deal with that shit.
it makes me smile a little bit because somebody got away with one on you, and I know it's unlikely, but it is
Oh man.
it really pisses me off, Martin.
Yeah,
I got big feelings about it, and I wanted to get on a plane and go hunt a man down, but that ain't going to be the simple solution as much as it would make me feel good to blast him one time.
yeah.
But
Well, my boys out there at the veterans were like, we're gonna come out there for. I'm like, no, guys, like anybody could have,
yeah,
you know, but you can't, you can't do it. You
we got to
can't
be
do it.
better. We got to be better than the scumbags, and we got to be bad guys to the
Yeah,
bad guys. I love
yeah.
that thing that you say. I think that's very powerful, and I think if nobody else is going to get online and post and talk and say the things that we're saying, then it got to be us. It's got to be us. And so we'll do it.
We
We'll
gotta
do it.
make our mark. We gotta go out there and talk and say. But the big thing right now, which is really problematic, is anti-Semitism, especially in this town. It's become it's become socially acceptable. That is really bad. And I see it. I'm Catholic. I see it. So I can't imagine Jewish people right now have to be like in fear for their safety. Why should you have to live like that? Fuck that. We're all Jews. We have different opinions on Jesus, right? But whatever that is, that stems from a long history, and people tend to stay in a religion they grew up in, and a lot of people don't make that jump. But you know, Jesus wasn't God. Jews. Jesus rose from the dead. Christians. Jesus slipped out the back door. Muslims. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Jesus, he slipped out the back door. And so we're gonna die over that? Yes. I'll die over my if someone put a gun to my head and said, I'll die for that in a heartbeat. I'm not gonna kill anybody for it though.
Right.
So let's go out there and spread the word. Let's go out there and spread the love and the sunshine, you know?
I mean,
But
that's all we can do is
that's it.
literally have, bring more eyes to the things we're saying and get more people inside the ring of life that is protecting each
Yeah.
other, living with humanity. Understand that
Right.
you can close your eyes and pray to whoever so that when you do die, you end up believing and going to whatever it is you believe in without hurting somebody. Like you can do
Right.
all those things without making me have to believe your beliefs or vice versa and hurting somebody. It's unnecessary, and it really has no traction. You're not getting anything except a viral video you hope of some guy punching you or you punching some guy. And that is, again, absolutely soulless, and even more than that,
Oh,
godless. That is
cowards. Yeah.
godless behavior.
Cowardly. And you want to know something? I think we should all make a pact. Who's ever right, gotta let the other guys in through the back door. Who's ever right about God, let the other guys in through the back door.
It's that simple.
Like, yeah, is that and Jesus is God. Be right back. Hey, come on. Jewish guys, come on in. Yeah, Muslim guys, come in through the back door. I don't think God will have a problem with that. I
Yeah,
told you, the people we got out in LA, Joni, Trout, they really don't believe in God. I said, don't worry about it. I got you covered.
that's right.
If I get there first and you're out there, because you don't believe in God, I'll let you through the back door. Yeah,
Yeah.
come on.
And
Yeah, just
I would assume that's what God wants you to do, you know?
absolutely, absolutely. This idea that, look, there's a lot more. What we don't know is a lot more profound than what we do.
Yeah.
A lot more profound. So, and it just you go deeper and deeper and deeper into that, and the more you learn, the less you know, and you realize how little we really know. St. Thomas Aquinas, one of the great philosophers, doctors of the church, on his deathbed said, "Everything I wrote, just throw it in the fire and burn it up. It's just so much ash. Is You know, we can't even. But look, let's all go on that journey. Let's all travel together. Let's stick up for each other. Let's protect each other. Let's defend each other. And this idea that we got to start like throwing each other under the bus, throw people under the bus, that's not God talking. That's the devil. So let's go and let's raise hell.
Um, I gotta go because I got a thing in 15 minutes. I think
Okay.
that we should make Monday morning our church. We get on
Yeah,
here and
I like that.
we talk and we do this. I could sit and talk to you for 3 hours if I had the time right now about every different angle of this thing and where society is. But we're not going to get
Okay.
it done in one podcast. So let me get this one up so that people can hear it.
Perfect.
I
All
think
right, deal.
a lot of valuable things were said on this. And I also think it's important. I wanted to have your bruised face on here as proof of the
Yeah.
shit that's going on in the streets. And like you said, New York is the heartbeat of this country. It always has been. We need to pick up New York. We need to celebrate our brothers and sisters despite their sexual orientation, their religion, their love life, whatever the fuck you think is worth
Nobody gives a fuck.
judging, save it.
Yeah.
Save it. Um,
Let's go out there. Remember, there are two voices in your head. One is God and one's the devil. And the way to tell them apart is the crazy voice is God. That's it. The voice that makes the voice that's saying, yeah, play yourself, that's rational. And it's not God. The crazy voice is God. So go out there, fucking be nuts. Don't be saying it's a trap. Go out there, take chances, roll the dice. You got put down here to make a difference in the world, make a difference in the world. Probably name of the world, let them know we were here. We were not good citizens. We were not good citizens. We were great people. That's it. We go out there with rebels. We don't follow the rules. Make up your own rules. If you got the choice between A and B, take C. That's it. That's what sets us apart. All right? Different. That's it.
well said, boss
And
man.
always a pleasure talking with you.
We
It's funny how the black eyes, I gotta send you a couple of pictures, how it's almost like symmetrical.
Yeah, when I first saw the picture, I thought it was
They look
AI.
fake.
I thought it was
Yeah,
AI. You look like you had a Mike Tyson filter on your face, like you
yeah,
just got in a fight. And then, I read your one line comment, and I knew it was more than that.
yeah.
Um, and so we continue this journey. I mean, it's got to be what it's got to be. You and I have grown together for a long time in this friendship, and it's
Hey,
time we spread the word.
like a brother, like a brother.
We got to
And
do
we
it, bro.
fight that fight together. But we have our allies and we have our enemies, but God bless them both.
That's
We
right.
fight on. Fight the
That's
good
right.
fight.
All right, brother. I will talk to
All
you
right, kid.
soon. Well, let's get
See
back on
you
the
later.
horn. Let's set up next Monday, same time, and just hit
Monday
it.
it is.
There it
Done.
is. All right,
Perfect.
folks. I hope you enjoyed this. This is an ongoing conversation.
The
We
ongoing
need it. You
podcast.
all need it, and we need you guys to spread some of the humanity that's required to have a
The
humanity. It's as
world,
simple
one
as that.
fat lip at a time.
One fat lip at a time. Preferably no headbutts. We like to dodge a
Yeah,
jab
no
if we can.
headbutting. That's fucking cheap shit. All right, Matt. See you
O-
later.
Over and out, brother. Thank you.
Over now.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.